What's interesting about America is that a lot of times we spend being upset with it, being angry with what we've been through. Let Freedom Reign is about the fact that, as annoying and aggravating as it may sound, in many ways we are a free country. In many ways we do have liberties and we do have choices. We do have freedoms. And I think that it's in our benefit to recognize those freedoms and take them and allow those freedoms to catapult us into our next place. There are scholarships available for minorities. There are boxes that we can check and we shouldn't be so afraid of and too proud to check. Because once you make it to the top, nobody's going to know how you got there, but you'll be on the top just like the rest of them. So I'm asking my sisters and brothers of America on this album not to be too proud to check the box. Long story short.
Excellent. Thank you. And you get to give us a drop, which is just...
You're here with, of course, Chrisette Michelle on your album release day. How's it going?
It's going good. Thank you so much.
Now, what can people get different out of this album? Besides the new look, of course, what would they be listening to differently?
You know what? I wrote 12 songs on here. So you'll definitely be hearing my pen all throughout it. And then I also took a little bit of a political stand on some of the music. So it's not only love and freedom, it's also America and freedom.
So what are the important things people can get out of your album based on the politics side of things?
You know what I've been saying lately is don't be afraid to check the box. If you see your name or your likeness next to a box and somebody wants to give you something because you have your face next to that box, and don't be afraid to check it. Because when you get to the top, nobody's going to know you checked that box.
So how do you feel about the midterm elections that just passed? And it seems like a lot of the young folks were up for Obama. They were promoting him and, rooting for him during the original election, but now they weren't so as involved.
It's so interesting to me. Oh, man, this is crazy. And I'll get excited if we talk about this for too long. But, okay, because I got this song called Let Freedom Reign, and we took out 2 of the verses and put Tell It and Black Thought. And one of the verses were, we love you until you get to the office. It's like, we love you all the way to the office. You get to the office, you realize the office is a bigger place than you might have thought it was before you got there, and we don't want to give you enough time to do what you said you were going to do. So, I mean, it's exhausting, and if I had to take a political stand, I'd say, wait a second, America, just hold on. Wait a second. Let's see what the man can do. I don't think he's doing that bad.
So what do you think that he's doing right? Because a lot of people have complaints about him, but what are some of the things that Obama is currently doing right in the White House?
We'll talk about one thing, and one thing is we're seeing some of our troops come home. We never thought we'd see that day. We really were exhausted with everything that was going on in the war, and to see people come home is kind of a big deal. Give them that.
Okay. So we see the political climate has inspired some of your writing. What are some of the other things that really inspires that pen?
My heart is beating.
All about the heart.
Sorry.
You're getting passionate about it. We like that. That's good. So is there anything, is the heart the main thing, just pulls at your heartstrings and inspires you to just start writing?
Yeah, definitely. And that's where, a lot of artists make a lot of mistakes because we just say exactly what we're thinking. We get in trouble for it. I think I'm going to get in trouble this time, and I'm not afraid of that. I definitely am moving with my heart.
So listeners can get a little glimpse of your love life from the album?
You know what? They can get a glimpse of different parts of it because it's so multifaceted. One of the toughest things about being an entertainer is that you're all over the place all the time. I do 250 shows a year. So usually when I am somewhere, I'm going somewhere. And so when I meet somebody, I'm about to meet somebody else. And it's kind of tough to formulate really good relationships.
So is there anyone you're formulating a relationship with now?
Yeah, check the front cover of any magazine.
We want to hear you say it.
A brown-skinned man on it and then formulate a relationship, but it's in my imagination. Because I don't have time.
Yeah.
I want to have time. I promise I do, but I don't.
Okay. Well, what about the business aspects? You're so busy with the music. Are there any business ventures or entrepreneurial ventures that you want to make time for?
Yeah, there's a clothing line called LaShawn Eugenie. which is a collaboration between my younger brother and I, who is a graphic designer. And we're coming out with a t-shirt line boutique on the internet called LaShawn Jenny. So I'm very, very excited. He's only 17 years old. He already makes some money. He has the spirit of an entrepreneur. So this will be the beginning of his first real business.
Okay, so what advice can you give to other people that are out there that maybe want to start a clothing line, a shirt line, especially with family? Any advice?
Family comes first for me. But my first word of advice is to pay your way to the top. Don't let somebody else pay it for you. And by that I just mean that if there's lawyers and contracts, etc. involved, make sure you have the right lawyer. If you gotta work 17 hours a week at McDonald's while you're in college, do that. I had 4 jobs while I was in college. And you don't want people handing you stuff. You know what I mean? Unless it's an official loan. You don't want people just handing you stuff because then you owe them back. And that can get scary.
Very scary, especially when it's Okay, so last question. Just in terms of everything you're doing your music, you're doing your business, what is the one thing that really drives Chrisette?
Like we said before, my heart. I read this book called The Message, and there's a lot of things in it that I believe in and that I agree with. So I just try to carry those things out of my everyday life. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm the queen of mistakes.
Really?
I am. It's terrible.
So what do you do with those mistakes?
I made at least 6 mistakes today. At least.
Give us one.
I didn't wear a coat when I got outside of the car, and it's raining outside, and I'm a singer. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mistake number 1. I know better.
See?
I know better.
Okay, so are you learning from those mistakes that you make?
I am. I definitely am. I do a lot of meditation and a lot of sitting still when I can to learn from my mistakes. And I take a lot of wisdom from grown folks.
That's important.
Yeah.
Wisdom in the grown folks. Okay, I have one more question I
What's
lied.
that?
Okay. Your first job.
My
a lot of people
first
say,
job.
they see you where you are now, but what about that first job?
Well, all in all, I've had 17 jobs. But my first job was as a librarian's assistant at the public library in Patchogue.
Really?
I love books.
Okay. So also she's encouraging reading, right?
Please read. Can you read? If you can't read, learn to read.
Right. Reading is fundamental.
And then read a lot. I read too much.
That's a
But
good thing.
Read a lot.
Okay. Well, thank you. Good luck on the album and congratulations.
Thank you, Shell, and you are watching K5 Tip.